This is Philly in the House with Maurice Jackson, the weekly show where we dig into the sound, the stories, and the spirit of gospel music. From the choir stand to the recording studio, we're going there, and we're not doing it alone. We're sitting down with iconic voices from the Philly tri-state area to talk legacy, influence, and the history that shaped the movement. From the St. Vets to the Philly Mass Choir to the Victory Choral Ensemble to the Brockington Ensemble. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get started. Philly in the House.
Today on Philly in the House, we have Mr. Glenn Barratt, CEO of Morning Star Studios. Glenn Barratt is a Grammy Award-winning producer and engineer. Morning Star Studios have been in existence since 1979. The who's who of gospel artists have walked through Morning Star Studios, from Vickie Winans to Kirk Franklin to James Hall to Stephen Ford. The list goes on. Today on Philly in the House, we welcome Glenn Barratt. Well, hello. Today I have here the man himself, Glenn Barratt, CEO of Morning Star Studios. What's up, dude?
Not much, just coming off a great video that you just did.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. My relationship goes back a few years now.
Decades.
Yes.
You don't want to share that. We're all getting old.
Yes, we are. Let me ask you this, Glenn, with your vast experience in gospel music and recording gospel music, what do you think the state of gospel music is right now?
It's a new day. And just the way AI seems to be flooding Spotify and iTunes, I think that there's going to be a place, but people don't know exactly how everything's going to sort out. People are still creative. People will always create. And God will always be blessed. So that's not an issue. The issue is, can people make a living at it? Can people get paid for the time they put in? And of course, we're going to create whether we get paid or not. But I think people need to understand now, it's going to happen. People are going to understand more than ever, and people are going to crave human music and human praise more than ever. To think that an AI thing can do part of your production is not unheard of now. So we're in a different time. Everything's sorting out.
Let me ask you this, Glenn. How long has Morning Star been in existence?
We opened up in 79. So if you do the math, I guess that makes us 47 years old.
Yeah, easily. So let me ask you this. With that type of history, could you go down memory lane a little bit on some of the gospel artists that you have recorded?
We had seasons. So in 81, Steve Ford first came in and he showed me his emulator, which was like a version of the Fairlight. It used samples and it had some great sounds. It was a keyboard. And we kind of hit it off. And then he started bringing projects. But Andy Ford, his brother, brought in Bruce Parham. And I think Bruce might have been the first client that we had from Andy. And then we did a bunch of Sweet Rains projects. And then Steve started bringing in his productions. And we did Vickie Winans, we did Richard Smallwood. We did a bunch of projects for Light Records. And Steve was hired by a guy named Philip White, who was the head of Light. And then when Philip couldn't get Steve, he actually hired me to work with a keyboard player named Aaron. And Aaron and I went out to LA. We did LA Mass. Philip White sent me all of Chicago Mass's tracks, sent me James Hall to remix because he didn't like the mix. Corey, who you just had in here, he put a choir together for me to recut all the backgrounds on Chicago Mass's project, which came out around 1998, 1999. And Philip White sent me that to remix. And I told Philip, there are no choir overdubs. We can't get the sound that you want without choir overdubs. So I said, I'm going to need to put a choir together, and these folks are going to have to learn the songs and sing them, and that's going to need a budget. So Philip said, whatever you need to do, Glenn, I got to have something I can put out. And Chicago Mass was not happy with me. But regardless, I think in 1999, and everything that I just quoted kind of happened before that. But in 1999, we had 1/3 to 1/2 of all of the stellar nominations came from Morning Star Studios, which is, I thought that was insane. I think there were maybe 30 categories in the Stellars that year, and each category had 3 entries. And so if you add up the 30 and the 3, that's 90. And I think we represented about 42 of those names came from Morningstar.
Wow. Something about Morningstar. I've noticed and observed there are not many studios like Morningstar, at least that I don't know of, that particularly. And I wouldn't say you just specialize in gospel music. You specialize in all types of music. But because I do gospel music, there's not a studio that I know of that specializes and know how to record gospel music like Morning Star. How did that come about?
Steve Ford came in and we just figured it out.
Wow.
Steve had a sound in his head with that first Adoration project, and he did the McClurkin project, and he did some work with Donnie McClurkin by himself. And we were kind of figuring it out as we went. And he wanted this orchestral sound because he was a violinist from Temple University. And he also wanted the pure gospel sound because he grew up in the church. His dad put him on the organ when he was 12.
So let me ask you, and we know the background of Stephen Ford. So even your instruments here, there's studios now that don't have those instruments, is what I'm talking about. So did that come in a process of time as you started learning and getting more acclimated with the gospel music sound? Or did you have the Hammond organ already in the studio? Those type of things.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when we first added the Hammond. We had a decent piano, and we always were getting good piano sounds. So we did a blend of classical music as well as the other genres we did. But obviously we needed an organ, and gosh, no one plays organ better than Steve Ford. But we had everyone. We had Twinkie. We had everyone in here playing our organ. So it had to be good. So there was a company called Retrolinear that refurbished organs, and they went over our organ and made sure, they still do, make sure that it's top notch.
Wow. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. A lot of these studios, they don't have the instruments that you have. You have some nostalgic instruments here.
We have a Wurlitzer,
Yeah.
we have a Rhodes.
Yeah.
The Whirly is famous for Ray Charles, but there's not a lot of Rhodes parts on the old gospel music, but the new gospel music, yeah, there is.
Back in the day, the choirs was the big thing, the choir sound. Where do you feel that's at, even in the recording now? Are you getting business from the choirs like you used to?
Oh, sure, we're getting some. James Scott has been in here 6 times recording his choir. And of course, Corey Shipley and Grace Cathedral, and Corey's involved with GMWA, and he brings in a select group of choir members to sweeten those tracks. But in terms, also Bethany Baptist, Bishop David Evans has done 2 singles here, and I know there's more to come. So we are getting some choirs. Usually it's the select group, because we can't really fit more than 30 or 40 people in there, and sometimes you don't need that many bodies to have a good sound. So if you can get anywhere from 12 to 15, 16, 18 people, that really know the music, you can get a great choir sound.
That's good. Yeah, because I've been asking those that I've interviewed that's in the industry, has there been a decline in the choir sound with, and most of them come up with COVID changed things with how we worship. Nothing against the praise and worship team, but that started becoming the norm. And the choir was
It's
in the
harder
background.
to organize a choir.
Yeah, became in the background.
Sure.
And so with Morning Star Studios being in the business so long and recording so many different people, I wanted to get a feel. But like you said, it seems like you're still maintaining.
Yeah, there's still choir groups out there that want to put out records, no question. And of course, there's praise and worship groups too. I think, if anything, it's the Wild West. And if you have a good song, you don't know how far it could go. It could reach people you have no idea. It's a worldwide audience.
It's funny, I see that Morning Star is growing and you're always growing with the times. I just did something that I've never done here in all of the years that we've been together. What would you call it?
An in-studio video project. We did it with Rodney Harris and the group from his church. And we did it with a church that is more of a Jamaican tradition. But we've done it a number of times. And even some soloists that put together their own groups and wanted to capture a studio sound. But it's a great location. We have 7 cameras and we have great video people. It's a great location to put together an intimate looking studio sounding project where it really comes off the way you see other professional YouTube videos.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, the setup and the cameras. And so we're going into a new round with Morning Star Studio, and I thought it was great. So Glenn, I thank you so much. How can a listening audience, if someone was interested in recording, how could they get in contact with Morning Star Studios?
We're on the web. We've been there for eons.
Great. Thank you so much, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Remember, Philly gospel isn't just music, it's legacy, memories, and testimonies. This is Philly in the House. Until next time, be blessed.